What are you guys' like retro game stores pet peeves when you walk into one?
Ooh, pet peeves. So I'm not gonna lie, this topic, I thought of it because we were watching the Metal Jesus video and Kelsey was talking about her pet peeves. I tried not to really pay attention to it, though, what they were saying, because I was like, oh, this would be a great conversation to have. I actually wrote some down. Ricky, do you have any on the back of your hand? Pet peeves in a retro game store. What are the things at Retro Games Plus that Chris does that just pisses
Ricky,
you off?
Don't tap it. Don't tap it. I can hear everything.
Good old Ricky. Ricky, bring that mic closer too, bro.
Pet peeves, huh?
Were you not ready for this, Ricky? We only sent like 40 texts about this.
I wanted you guys to go first.
Sure. All right, I got it. I'll start. Stickers on labels or cardboard is probably my most number one pet peeve.
But Retro Rick uses some special...
Retro Rick had his special labels from where I told him to buy those special labels from, because we get heat on that too.
Okay.
But whenever people say, why would you ever put the labels on the cardboard like that? I'm like, just buy it and watch, peel it off. It does nothing. It took me forever to find the right labels that do that.
There is special labels that will just peel right off without any stickiness.
No damage.
Because there are even sticky notes I've seen, which are basically usually very gentle. But I've still had a sticky note once in a blue moon that will I'll peel up and I'm like, oh, and there's like a little bit of like label that came off, or not label, but like box from like an old NES box. Where I'm like, oh no, like a little bit of pink came off, and that's from the Barbie game. And I'm like, dang it, it still came off. But that I feel like when stores do that too, like, what are they thinking? Like, why is that a thing that you would it almost makes you think, like, are you not like in any what involved as a collector yourself? Because that's such a big no-no.
Right. Well, for me, again, I researched because I knew that it was a big no-no. So I was like, either I have to buy a plastic case for every single game, which a lot of times you don't, right? There's some cheap like cardboard game, say it's an Atari game or something. Like, I don't want to have a plastic case for every one.
It's literally worth more than the game.
Yeah, so you have to stick something on it. So I was able to find these labels, which again, I did help Rick out because he asked me where to get them from. But it took me like years to find those.
Wow.
But back to the GameStop just for a second. I'm curious if GameStop is going to take their labels, which are the most horrible labels that exist.
For sure.
You can't even get them off
on
the
corners
plastic
of all the disc-based games.
Oh my gosh! And then they just keep sticking them on, and there's like 5 of them. Imagine if you were like went in to buy like a Hagani or something, and they were like, "Yep, right on it."
Again, and if you didn't hear our first podcast, we'd go back to that one because that's where we talked about they need to hire the right people who know retro. It's so much different than a freaking plastic PS4 case where no one gives a crap what's on it, slap some goog on it. It is not the same with vintage.
Yeah, so it's a challenge for a video game store. I mean, I figured out a system that works for me, and most people are happy with it. We don't ever get complaints about the labels because it doesn't do damage. But if you are a video game store, you can find.
Do I have
labels.
a Retro Games Plus sticker over there on something?
Oh man, you're gonna test it.
Could put him to the test live.
That is so
I don't know if I want to do that to him in case. What if?
Dang, do it. I have faith in him.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go look.
please.
Someone give your next one.
Okay.
Oh dang, you're gonna do it. Let's go.
So for me, it's when games or whatever don't have a price at all on them.
Ooh, that is a good one.
And then, you're browsing, right? You just want to look. You don't want to talk to anybody just yet. And like, oh, man, now I got to talk to somebody.
Yeah, that's a bad one because when they bring it up, you're just like, I don't even want to know how much it is anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're busting out the online.
Because they may do the thing where which is another pet peeve, reprice it. Or they're pricing it like day by day.
Yep.
Maybe it's a hot item.
Chris, you're lucky.
You have one?
This was from your store, and there's no label damage, which means it obviously came off easy.
Ooh.
It took me forever and ever to find those. So I actually had full faith in that. If you found one of those, if you brought it over here, I was like, yeah, go ahead.
You know,
Just,
you're a little scared though.
No, it's actually never, ever does damage. I'm like, these are the best labels ever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's a nostalgia feeling when you see like a Blockbuster thing on it, but it is the worst type of thing to get off a game.
Yeah,
Yes.
those were like security
Yeah,
stickers
that's why
a
you
lot
leave
of
those
times.
on there. You should never take those off.
There's also a different level of nostalgia for like Blockbuster in the 90s versus like a lot of people will leave those on. People, dare I say, collect that.
Yep.
But it's a lot different when it's like the pumped out, it's still inexistent, the GameStop one, everyone's like, they still make things, it's just annoying. Something about it being your childhood, even though if your childhood was GameStop, the fact that it's still those stickers are still being produced today doesn't have much feeling to it. So Who else has got one?
Ben brought up when people are at video game stores when they don't price items and you have to basically go up to the counter and they look it up. That was actually my number one pet peeve that I was going to say too. I can't stand that.
It's so annoying.
It's
right?
so annoying. You don't know the price, and then you have to bring it up, and then they have to take time to like look it up. And I'm just by then I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't.
Right. It's not the swap meet. You expect a sticker to be on there, so you know exactly what it is. And now you got to figure out if you really want it. And then if you don't want it, then you got to be the chump that asked about it and you didn't really want it or whatever. He's got to put it back.
To me, it's just automatically like, nope. Like walk in, if we go into a game store,
true, right?
No prices. I'm like, nope, I'm good. Because I already know what the price is. Might as well go to eBay and look up solds, and that's what they're going to tell me.
Yeah.
And probably a little higher.
Right.
Right. And it's like when you have that type of, that's how you run your store, it tells me like you really don't care about the customer experience at all. Right. You're more focused on, well, shoot, I don't want to put a price on this game because it might have went up $7 in the last year and a half.
It's a real pain to have to like reprice everything in the store. How often do you do that?
We go category by category, so that it is a lot of work to we'll take like when I say category, like, okay guys, we're gonna reprice all the NES games, and we'll go through, and luckily I have a point of sale system that will like tells us our inventory and will spit out labels, so it's works pretty well, but it's still a lot of work. You have to take hundreds of games off the shelf and re-sticker manually. So when I see a video game store that doesn't do that and they're just like, well, bring it up here and I'll tell you the price. A lot of it is just laziness. It's like, okay, well, you didn't want to take the time to price. You're just throwing games out there and then I'll price check you as you come over. It's like, adios.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ricky?
All right. So I got 3 of them, I think.
Give us one first.
All right.
One at a time.
All right. One is when they don't clean their game, so it has Sharpie all over it, and they're still trying to ask for full price. Or like, let's say you run into like a Hagane or something, the label's all ripped up. They still want full retail price on that thing.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, at least give me like $100-$200 off. I'll take a hit
On a game that
expensive.
That's an interesting question. Chris is thinking about this one because he doesn't know. I don't know what you do either, but I didn't think about that one, Ricky. That's an interesting one. You go in, you buy a game, but the label's poop. It's crap. What do you do?
Condition is tough because like if I'm there and I'm pricing it, like as a store owner, I can go, okay, that's pretty beat and that's a $1,300 game. Like let's maybe mark it down. We print out a sticker that says
to $12.99.
We'll mark it down, but with like I have 5 stores, so it's very difficult to like explain to all of the employees how to do that, like in a system that's like, okay, so it's because it's a judgmental call. Right. And so like we do have 25% off, 50% off stickers that we will just mark a lot of things down if it's really rough condition on something. Sharpie might not be that bad because you could get that off. You should just take it off is what
but if it's like in the front, like you're like, all right, cool. If it's in the back, I don't mind. I'm like, okay, whatever. But when it's in the front, you're like, dude, you didn't even take the time to.
Or like a water damaged box or something like that should be easy, like 25-50% off.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're charging you CIB price when it's like basically you're looking at a wet piece of cardboard.
Yeah, like all rippled and crinkled up and like torn. So we try to do that, but it's a good thing to try to do it, but it's not always the easiest because it is a judgment call.
Ben's the condition guy. What would you do if you see it like that?
When you pick it up,
I wouldn't buy it.
I knew it.
Sorry.
Ben is a condition monster. That's for sure. Sometimes he'll sell me NES games and he's like, I'll give you a discount because it's kind of like beat up. And I look at it, I'm like, sure, I'll take the discount. But this thing's mint condition, dude.
It's got like a line in the back, like the smallest thing. I'm like,
sounds good. I'll take the discount.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I mean, I plan on keeping my games for a while.
Ben, you pretty much have to have them perfect.
There are several games I have bought like 3 or 4 times, and I can't get a good one of that game. For example, NES Bo Jackson Baseball.
Okay.
It seems that all baseball games are just beat to heck
I'm gonna
by
look right now.
kids.
People are just throwing them.
Yeah.
This game is horrible.
And Bo Jackson Baseball is one game. I've bought it 3 times off of eBay, and it comes in and it's got some jankiness to it.
I remember. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I just end up whatnot in it, or I think I have like 1 or 2.
Ben, hilariously, this is one of my worst labels. Look at this.
oh, Ben's gonna want it.
Yeah, see, it's all janky. Like NES baseball games are just kids beat the heck out of them.
Oh yeah, it looks like somebody farted
And
on it.
another one is Roger Clemens MVP baseball.
It's always labels always coming off the glue or
Also,
something.
so that was an LGN or IGN. What was that rainbow?
LGN.
logo?
LGN.
Yeah.
LGN.
So
LGN.
those labels are naturally like kind of janky, and that's another one I can't find. I've bought that one probably 4 times.
Roger Clemens, MVP baseball.
I know you got a brand new tough guy. Yes, I know.
Hey, the cart's probably still beat up.
Probably if you open that up, the label's gonna be jank.
Nobody needs to know.
Well, I remember when we were buying NES games off you in the parking lot, and you had them all sorted like A, B, C, D,
Yeah, I
E,
know. It's so
F.
crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember like Aaron and I went right towards the F games because you were like, yeah, those are like $3. And it was like the same game that was in the A was in the F.
He was pricing them way lower for
Way
condition.
lower for condition, but I remember we were looking at them. We're like, these aren't even that bad. So
Dude,
you were definitely a condition
No,
monster.
they
Yeah,
were like-
I don't know why.
you
NES
tested 'em all,
especially,
that's right.
NES especially. I have this thing that where like I feel like all NES games deserve the love to be cleaned. It's so dumb, right?
I like it.
because like I spend so much time like cleaning these things.
we
and
know.
testing them.
It is not dumb. I have 750 NES games behind me right now, right there. And the past weekend, I've been ordering styrofoam changeouts. If the styrofoam's dirty, I put them in. Every single CIB game is in a plastic sleeve, even the loose ones, which are in the mini box gaming. I am like for sure all about the
Yeah, I
pristine.
mean, I'll clean other games for, definitely, right? But NES, there's something
the
about
love.
NES that, like, okay, Mr. $3 game, let me give you all the attention in the world for like 15 minutes.
My other one that I had, I just dropped my phone because I was looking at my notes, was, and this goes for any store really, just non-friendly employees. That to me will kill it immediately. I mean, if I'm in a store and someone doesn't say something to me within 30 seconds, I just already feel unwelcomed, right? And then when you ask a question and there's like, I don't know, like I just like part of me is like, what are you doing here? Like I get that not everyone's going to love their job, right? That's life. But I mean, I always tell my kids and even, everybody, no matter what you're doing, do it to the best of your ability, man. I don't care if you're cleaning toilets. I don't care if you're whatever, a janitor, if you're working at McDonald's, if you're doing a high-end job, do it to the best of your ability in the sense where like you can be pleasant around people, right? It's some people go, oh, you don't want to be fake to everybody. Bro, you're getting paid to be here. Shut up and smile, right? Like I don't go, oh, I had a bad day. Shut up, you're getting paid or go home, right? When we worked at In-N-Out.
Yeah.
What happened if you showed up in a bad mood?
Ooh, they'd send you home, dude.
Send you home or send you back
yeah.
to do potatoes?
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
you telling
Oh,
me
I
that.
like that. That's a good way to handle
Get out
it.
of the front of the store. Literally, I tell you, nobody wants to see your grumpy face. Get out.
Oh,
No,
I
I'll
like
change.
that.
I don't care. Get out. You're not in the front of the store. You don't represent us.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the hardest thing to deal with like employees. I have such a good crew right now, but I have had employees over the years that just bring like that attitude in, and I'm like, guys, just stop it. Just, I know you might be having a bad day. Just come in and just put a smile on while you're here, please. Like,
Yep.
but it's challenging because people are people, right?
Yeah, and bad days happen, of course. And there's as people in the comments, of course, are going to be like, well, what if your, mom died? Or of course, there's a whole different thing versus, oh, my girlfriend and I are fighting and I'm just such an about. It's like, I understand that sucks, but you're being paid here in my place of business. I own this place. This is my shop. You come in here, you're paid to do these things. These are part of the things that you're paid to do. And one of them is to be friendly to customers.
And really, it doesn't take that much, to be honest. I just tell my
No.
employees at the very minimum, even if you're having a bad day, when somebody walks in that door, say hello.
Yep.
Can I help you maybe one time? Let them do their thing and just say goodbye when they leave. That's really all you have to do. You don't have to be like over the top crazy.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's nice if you do that, but you don't have to. Just at a minimum, just say hi, hello, goodbye.
Yeah, I mean, it takes an experience to a whole new level, even to the fact where my son, who's 14, he's noticed. We go to this, back when I was having ice cream, I'm on a break from it. There's this place called The Straw, and it's just like a custom ice cream milkshake place where they make crazy milkshakes. And my son, who's 14, who doesn't pay attention to this kind of stuff, he's like, Dad, I love going there because there's one guy who works there who's like the best employee. And every time you go in, I mean, it's above and beyond. How are you guys? So good to see you. What do you need? Oh, that's the best flavor. And he brings it out to me. He's like, oh, if you break off that cookie and dip it in that ice cream, it's going to be so good. Oh, that's a good pair. Eat that one. And my son is always like, dude, I hope that guy's working. And I'm like, dude, that's a 14-year-old kid who is seeing the
Are you
power.
related to that guy?
I know, right? You're seeing the power of good. Hey, I'll be honest, at my day job, which I don't want to say it is, they have this thing called a hero award. And it's basically where customers call in and say like, great job. And my boss was like, dude, we've given out maybe like 6 of these in the past 5 years. He's like, you broke that record in like your first like 6 months of being here. When I first started, I got like 13 of them like first month. Why? Because every customer I dealt with, how's your day? How are you? So good to see you. Oh my gosh. Well, I'll be honest.
Awesome.
I think I had the cheat code for that. You know what it was? It was during COVID. And I was meeting with customers face to face. I'm gonna get so much heat for this.
Uh-oh.
And you're supposed to be wearing a mask. I don't wear masks. And every customer I saw, how are you? So good. They probably don't realize, is that a smile? I haven't seen a smile in months. It was during the heat of COVID. And I'm out there smiling, laughing, making jokes. And they're like, this is allowed? And I'm like, oh, yeah, man, what's up? High five. Give me a hug. And they're just like, oh, this is so great. As soon as they loosen up, I'm going to get heat for this, whatever. Take this podcast down.
It's super important, and I might have told this story before, but I always tell my employees, like when I was at the store working my shop, that the customers would come in to see me, and when I can't be at every one of my stores, I tell this story to all new employees, and I say, listen, half the reason why retail exists and can compete with online is because people want to come for human interaction.
Absolutely.
The games they can get anywhere, the comics, the cards, they can buy it. You can buy this stuff anywhere.
100%.
They're coming into this retail store. They took a trip down here, not just for the games, because they wanted some human interaction, and they're coming here. They used to come to see me, but I can't always be there. So they're coming to see you. And I think it's resonated through my stores. And it's like, I think a lot of my employees have taken that on, and they build a lot of relationships with the customers. If they don't, I'm kind of like, maybe this isn't the right fit for you, you know? But right now, pretty much all of my stores, they do a really good job of that.
If you even ask people who talk about like Blockbuster and missing Blockbuster, I feel like one of the first things that comes out of people's mouths, why do you miss Blockbuster? They say, oh, it's because I remember the days when, dude, I could go to the front counter and the guy would be like, oh, did I recommend this movie? And it's so good and it's so fun. It's just like you said, that human element where I feel like even if people are going to your store, they don't realize it. Maybe they're not like, I'm not going here to look for human interaction, but really you don't realize it because it's part of it. It's part of being there. You want that experience. You
do not realize it. And I didn't realize it as much, how much we are dependent on retail, whether it's just going to the CVS or even the gas station and walking in. But speaking of COVID, when everything was shut down, with all the retail was gone, I remember being like, I just want to go out and just, I didn't realize, I think it was like, I realized way more how much all those little interactions throughout your daily day mean a lot. Whether you're at the gym talking to somebody, the coffee shop, you stop in wherever, you know, and it's just human interaction. And it's like, I think it's important for us to have that.
It's quite literally healthy.
Yeah, it's healthy.
I think it's extremely healthy to have a human interaction. So I understand, of course, I make jokes, but like, of course, you know, whatever you believe or scared of or worried about or had actual issues with, totally understand. But it's like, there's also still so much health within just being with people and camaraderie. It's a huge, huge mental booster, which in a lot of times, healthy mental state leads to a much healthier physical state, right? I know people are in bad mental health, which leads to deteriorating physical health, right? So there's always that fine balance of trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Ricky, you said you had more?
Oh, yeah. So here's another one. We've actually had
They're not bilingual.
Dang, you took it from me.
Just kidding.
No, so we've had it happen to us a couple of times where you take something up and the price recently changed on something, like it went up like $50 and you take it right up to the counter, like, oh, you know what? The price just changed on this. And I'm just like,
no way.
It's on the label.
It says it right there.
And they won't honor their price. There are stores that will honor that price.
I did that.
He does.
I did that on Super Mario World.
Chris does honor his price. Yes, yeah.
N64 with the expansion pack inside.
But
oh yeah, I did that. That's right.
You got something.
I got a wave bird.
From me?
From you.
Dang, triple wax.
Yeah, I get wax.
There was that one N64 gray cart, some game. I told you that it was mispriced. So I unwaxed
me a
you.
favor.
Yes, I did. You said
was that Aiden Chronicles, maybe?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I looked it up and
There's
it was
a gray
like
and a black
$100
part.
difference.
Yeah.
And so I told your guy,
That's
I was like,
a
hey man, I
tricky
think
one.
you got that price wrong.
And I don't think I would have caught that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
100 bucks.
Unwaxed.
Well, so this is the part of the Metal Jesus video. The unwaxed. Is that thing? I like that.
It is now.
I got unwaxed.
I kind of like the unwaxed. This is the part of the video that I actually did hear Kelsey talk about. And I thought it was so interesting because she was arguing for what you are, saying that, like, when they bought that game, they already had a margin in mind that they bought it for, right? Like, I bought this at whatever, 40% of what it's worth. So I'm going to make 60% on top of that.
Yeah.
So you already, that's guaranteed, right? If that's what you're going to sell it for. So when it goes up, why would, unless obviously it's, you know, something like a stadium events and it goes for, holy cow, it's 20 grand more. But I think the word she said, and it stuck with me, is like, oh no, like, dang it, your customer might have a good experience. Like, dude, just give them that. If you're $15, $20, oh no, your customer might get a good deal.
It's kind of like selling a shirt on eBay.
Yep.
And it'll make you want to come back.
That's a whole other
there's-
topic. To open the can of worms. Yeah,
Wait for
Curtis,
Blake to come on.
holy moly, Curtis is going to go to town.
Sorry, that's a sore
Start
topic, I
shooting
guess.
Holy water over here.
There's definitely some moral dilemmas and qualms that we'll talk about when Blake gets here. That's a good one though, Ricky.
Yeah, if you remember, if you find something like that at a store, you're gonna want to go back. You're like, dude, if I found one, there's got to be more. That's why we always go to Chris's store.
We definitely found a few at your store, but your prices are already fair anyway. They really are. They're price
is true,
charting.
yeah.
But because of what I was talking about earlier with like the categories we go, we get behind on stuff. And so
Sure.
there's stuff that's good deals. And I'm like, that's great. Come in. You know, I hope you guys get good deals. Not every single one has to be right on. So.
And it's just crazy to think that you would push away a customer for, let's say, $20 and never get them back, versus the risk of it. Hey, oh, dude, you're right. It did go up. You got us. Well, good for you. There's the price. They're going to come back. They're going to come back. But the other, it's just so silly to me that store owners think that that is a smart thing to do. It doesn't register in my brain.
just eat it. It's sometimes tough to swallow, but just eat it. Like
Yeah, I think one of those things is like, I don't.
eat the loss is what I'm saying.
It's not even a loss sometimes. It's really just you can't squeeze every dollar out of it. You can't see that.
There's a lot of gestures happening. out here.
No, you can't squeeze it all out. You
The
know?
fact that the most excited I've seen you be in a while, Curtis was telling us that you watched all those guys eat hot dogs. Changed.
Bro, I hope,
Jump in.
Hey,
It
I
was
hope-
so
By the way,
exciting.
did you guys see the hot dog documentary?
I hope people understand that. Like, that's the most American thing out
Dude,
there.
I've never even heard of that guy's name before.
Joey Chestnut is one of the most American names out there.
Joey.
I'd say baseball is probably one of the most American
Baseball's
things.
pretty American.
Chestnut.
Chestnut,
I don't know.
wieners.
I mean, there's no difference between baseballs and bats. Like, come on, it's in different forms.
What America are we talking about here?